What is going on, everybody? It is Alex from Everything for iPod, and today I will be using this tank to test the Galaxy S5 underwater. Samsung advertises that the Galaxy S5 is water resistant, and signs of that show up when they say to check the battery cover after each time you remove it, making sure that the seal is tight, and also the same thing goes with the USB port at the bottom. The S5 does not look waterproof or water resistant at all. It's very thin, it has a very large screen, and it has an exposed camera, exposed headphone jack, and just a ton of things that look like water could get into it. However, when you take off the back cover, you can see a waterproof seal on the inside of it, which seals around the internal components of the phone. It goes around the battery, the SD card slot, and the SIM card slot, but still leaves things like the camera and speaker exposed where water can get in there. The headphone jack is exposed, but down on the bottom of the phone, the USB port actually has a cover on it with a waterproof seal to make sure no water gets into the USB port. Samsung never says that the S5 is fully submergible. They do say it is water resistant because of the seal on the back cover as well as the sealed USB port. But if you look closer in depth to the specs of the S5, Samsung claims that it is IP67 rated. To clarify the meaning of IP67, I put together an info sheet. IP stands for ingress protection, which is the scale used to rate different things on their protection against solid objects and liquids. When you see an IP rating, it is always written out as IP and followed by two numbers. In this case, I have them represented as X and Y, where X represents the protection against solid objects, in this case dust, and Y represents the protection against liquids, in this case that is water. There are 7 different levels of protection for solids, and in this case, the Galaxy S5 is level 6, meaning it is totally protected against dust. For liquids, there are 9 different levels of protection, and in the Galaxy S5's rating, the second number is 7, meaning that the S5 can be totally immersed in water between 15 centimeters and 1 meter. While Samsung claims that the Galaxy S5 is only water resistant, the technical definition says that it can be fully submerged in water, so I decided to try it and see what happens. First, because Samsung did say that it is water resistant, I figured it was only fair to just pour some water on it at first, so I did do that, and I just wanted to see what water resistant was really like. This may be a little bit more extreme than Samsung was thinking of, but I'm going to dunk it anyway, so we might as well start off a little bit more extreme than what they were thinking. As you can see, once I pour the first bit of water on the back, the speakers get real quiet really fast. And basically, water gets into those speakers right away, and they do get louder again, but not for a little while. You do need to let the water dry out. So the phone's operating fine once I pour some water on it, but now we're going to dunk it and see exactly what happens. I have to say, dunking a brand new smartphone in a fishbowl was probably one of the scariest things I've done with technology, especially since it didn't have a case on it. Everything was fine in the end. The screen, of course, didn't work underwater, and even when I took it out of the water, the screen was unresponsive until I took a towel and completely dried the screen off. But the speakers, once the water did dry out, they were completely working fine. Everything was perfect with the phone. But within the first hour after I took the phone out of the water, the speakers did sound a bit muffled, they were quieter, and they did have kind of a crackling noise. But that all went away once the water completely dried up. This is a very cool feature for Samsung to include, even if they're not fully advertising that it's completely waterproof. That way, if you accidentally get your phone wet, it's not a huge deal. You don't want to try to fully submerge it in water just because you never know what can happen, and Samsung obviously isn't going to back this by any kind of warranty, but it's something nice to have in case you ever have an accident with your phone. Like I said, everything worked perfectly on the phone after I took it out of the water, besides the speaker. That took about an hour before it was back to the normal operating conditions, and I took the battery cover off minutes after I took the phone out of the water, and as you can see, there is water on the back of the phone in the parts that were outside of the seal, and then every part where the battery was or the SIM card, everything that was within that rubber seal is completely dry. I did take my sleeve and kind of dry the inside of the phone off just so no water would run after I took the cover off into the battery socket or anything like that. But for the most part, everything was completely dry, even in the parts that didn't have that seal around it. And if you look at the back cover, you can see inside the seal, everything is completely dry, and outside the seal, there are a few droplets of water, but nothing insane. In case you were wondering, the micro USB 3 port on the bottom was completely dry, and the headphone jack worked perfectly right away, even though there is no cover on it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future content. I will be posting a lot of videos relating to the Galaxy S5 in the near future that you won't want to miss out on. Also, let me know down in the comments below, do you think the IP67 rating on the Galaxy S5 is something that a lot of people would need, or do you think it's just something that's kind of useless and something that most people aren't going to need anyway? Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in my next video. See ya.